The wireless industry could soon look a lot different in Canada, with new competitors poised to enter the market. The situation has left Canada's big three telecommunications companies lobbying against foreign competition. Federal Industry Minister James Moore is joining us live now with the latest on the topic. Mr. Moore, thanks very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Maybe you can just bring us up to speed on where we're at in the situation right now.
Sure. A couple of years ago, Canada did a transition from analog to digital television, and in the process of that, we opened up spectrum that we have as a government to auction. And in the process of deciding the rules whereby the spectrum is going to be auctioned, we've set up rules that will benefit Canadian consumers. There's been rumors now and some speculation that Verizon may have some interest in coming north of the border and coming into the Canadian marketplace. We don't know if they are or not. We'll know in the month of September, possibly in January, when the actual September is when you have to ante up to enter the auction. January is when the auction actually happens. But between now and then, there's a great deal of speculation that's going on. There's a big national campaign going on from the big three incumbent telecommunications companies, and I think there's a lot of misinformation out there. And I think what's important for me to underline, and part of the reason why I'm pleased that you gave me the opportunity to come on your show, is to just underline the fact that our policies are set up to create more choice and more competition for Canadian consumers. We think that lower prices, more competition will serve Canadian consumers very well, and this is something that Canadians have been asking for a long time.
Mm-hmm. And many Canadians have actually heard the advertisements that have been on the radio recently by the big three, basically saying that they're in an unfair position right now. What's the government's reaction to those advertisements?
Well, it's just simply not true. We have policies that have been designed not overnight, but after a great deal of consultation, including with Canada's large telecommunications firms. And our policies will move forward, and they will serve Canadian consumers incredibly well. I think Canadians know instinctively that more competition and more choice is better for them. It's true with restaurants, it's true with coffee shops, it's true with automobiles, and it's true as well when it comes to cell phone service and wireless services across the country. And that's what we're doing, is we're fostering more competition. Since 2008, the average cell phone bill for a Canadian consumer has dropped by almost 20% because of the changes that we've put in place. And going forward, we're going to have more competition and more effective services for Canadians.
Okay. Obviously something that Canadians would likely look forward to, lower prices on their cell phones. But you said that the big three had been untruthful in their advertisements. What exactly was untruthful? What did they say in there that you take issue with particularly?
Well, I just think miscategorizing the government's policies. I mean, certainly, look, as firms, Rogers, Bell, TELUS, and for that matter, Eastlink, Videotron, Wind, Mobilicity, look, all these companies, when they do ad campaigns, they're putting forward these campaigns to try to pressure the government to change policies that will be in the best interests of their companies. These are not charities. These are not crown corporations. These are companies that are looking out for their self-interest as companies. We as a government have a bigger responsibility. We have a responsibility to stand up for consumers and to do what's in the best interest of all Canadians, and that's what we've done with our policies. So I just ask those who are listening to the ads that are out there to listen to them with a little bit of grain of salt, recognize where they're coming from, and also recognize in turn that we as a government have a broader responsibility, not just to do what's in the best interest of large companies that already have, by the way, Bell, TELUS, and Rogers already have 90% of the marketplace. What we want to do is to have more choice and more competition. And in every industry where that's been tried, the beneficiaries have been consumers. And I think consumers want a little more money in their pocket. They want a little bit better service, and they want to have some greater choice in the marketplace. And that's what our policies are designed to achieve.
All right. And as you said, 2 of 4 new blocks of wireless spectrum will be made available, and those will be going up for auction coming up in a few weeks. So what happens in the months ahead now? Well,
four blocks are up for auction. We'll see who steps forward. What happens, I guess the next big date to look for in terms of government policy is September 17th. That's when companies and those who want to participate in the auction will ante up. But as you know, this is an interesting file. It changes, it seems, from day to day with people making different noises, different speculation. It's the marketplace, and we want the marketplace to work, but it's a regulated marketplace, and the outcome of it that we want to serve consumers is the best way possible, and that's what our policies are designed to achieve.
All right. And you had said earlier that it would be January before you see any big changes, because it's the auction in September and then several months after that for everything to pan out.
Anteing up for the auction is September. The auction itself is in January of 2014. But as I said, these things, the marketplace on the telecommunications file is something about which there's a great deal of speculation and interest, and these things can change from day to day. But the government's policy is clear, and we're moving forward.
All right. That's Industry Minister James Moore joining us live on BC One. Minister Moore, thank you very much for being with us.
Thanks for your time.